Here's something you probably didn't know about me. My father is a guitar player. He's a very good one, but he has certain heroes, so to speak. Steve Vai, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Van Halen, and other greats. And when he hears those people, when he hears a truly technically brilliant, as well as stylistically brilliant guitar solo that one of these heroes of his churn out, although he feels inspired in one sense, he also feels depressed. He hears these, and a part of him says, I can never be this good. This is so great and so inspiring, yet at the same time, I can never be this good. This level of excellence is something that I will never reach. And that, my friends, is how I feel about Christopher Nolan's latest film masterpiece, Inception. Say, everybody out there, when you were watching The Matrix, did you enjoy it? I mean, seriously, did you actually like it? Did you think it was a good movie? I did. I mean, it was a great action movie. It had great action in it, obviously, to be an action movie. It had groundbreaking special effects, but at the same time, it tried to be smart. Not something that most action movies actually do. It tried to be smart. Now, it didn't always succeed, but it did try, and I thought that was the important part. Say hi to the folks, Rusty. Yeah, shut up. The point is, it was a good movie because it tried something different. It tried to be smart. It tried to create its own world, create its own rules, and tell a certain amount of a story within that world. But have you ever wondered if possibly there might be an action movie that, instead of simply trying to be smart, could actually be smart? Not some movie that simply tries to tie back its filmmaking and its action sequences to some sort of philosophical concept, but something that actually did. Something that created a world and created the rules of that world and then used them to such a wonderful degree and played with the psychology of each one of the characters so well as to make it a modern movie classic. Well then, hold on to your hats, people. Christopher Nolan is the man for you. Inception is quite possibly the smartest, most intelligent action film ever made. You know, I never knew who this guy was before Batman Begins, but believe me, after I'm done with this video, I'm walking straight out and I am watching Insomnia right away, because this guy, wow, this is brilliant. Seriously. I'm wondering how to describe this movie without giving too much away, because, frankly, it's such an involved plot. It's one of the films that when if Hitchcock were the director to have made this film, he would have told you that you couldn't have come too late. You would have to come in at the very beginning of the movie to see the entire thing. And because right off the bat, it starts hitting you with surprises. You think you're in one place, then suddenly you're in another, then someplace you're in another place, and it just hits you with all these things right off the bat. It's just incredible. It's a wonderful movie, and you know what Well, first, I have to address this. There have been a lot of people who've been saying that this is a good movie. So you probably have known, if you watch Angry Joe, or if you watch Spoonie's videos, or if you watch the Bum Review, you already know that this film is a very complex movie. But it's also a very good movie, and it has a lot of intelligence to it. It has a lot of great action scenes in it. You know, it's a great movie. You already know that from all the other people who have talked about it. But if you watch Spoonie's videos in particular, you also know that there are some people who have problems with this film. And I'll try to address those. The main problem that people have with this movie is that they don't explain it. For those of you who don't know, the idea of the movie is that this guy is using a special machine called a dream machine. It's not really named. It's a machine that, like, puts you in the mind of the person. Let me start over. You create a dream. You have someone called a dream architect who creates this world, and then you put that world in to the mind of the person. You create a dream for him to be in. A dream where he doesn't know he's dreaming, which is pretty easy because that's essentially what happens in every dream. You don't know you're dreaming until you wake up. So you go into the dream. And they go into the dream, and then while they're in there, they get the guy to divulge his innermost secrets. And then they use that as a form of corporate espionage. They go inside high-level executives' heads, they steal company secrets, and sell them back to the guys who hired them in the first place. It's a form of corporate espionage. And people have been complaining about this film because they don't explain how the process works. Now, they do explain. They talk about the different levels of the psychosis and what parts of the brains are being used when you're dreaming as opposed to when you're awake, you know, and how different things happen to your body affect the dream world. Like if you're in a car when you fall asleep in the dream, gravity shifts. That's where mainly most of the Matrix type action sequences happen, because they're like in a car and someone takes too fast a turn and gravity shifts, and so they'll suddenly be standing on the wall and they'll be like, yes! It rocks. But here's the problem: people don't understand how the dream machine works. The machine, essentially, they just plug them into some, like their vein, like this fluid is their vein. They plug it into another guy. They press a button. Suddenly they're in a dream. That's just the way they say it works. And a lot of people are having trouble accepting this. Now, I had no trouble, because when I saw The Dark Knight, I had no trouble accepting that you could hack into all the cell phones in the city and program them all to send out little pings that would act like a radar system that would come, that once they hit the sound waves hit something, it would come back to the cell phone could read it, and you could see it all in real life. Now, I know that that's science fiction, but I was willing to just let that go and accept that was going on and enjoy The Dark Knight.